And the number that was there. So whenever you put on both sides. Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna add that. Yeah, that one doesn't look like a really graphic, but no, no standing. Yeah. Like some of you guys had -38 right now. It's gonna be positive because you're not just like moving it magically. It's not like a number can just jump across the line. You gotta cancel it here, so do the opposite operation, add it, and add 38 to both sides. I don't know. Yep, that looks good. I'm not sure. Let me get going. Here's your answer for number 1. Joanna. I added it to 38. I combined this, and that's where 87 went to. Oh, you mean on the left side? This factored would be p plus 7 times p plus 7. So when it's rewritten like that, the 49 is there. If you would like FOIL it, you would see it up here. Other questions on number 1? Okay. Jade, you're good on 1? Trish, 2? 3? Yep, so continue with the ones on the board. 6 in a row. Okay, I'm going to move past number 1 if there's no questions. Did you do it, Alexis? Number 1? You got it right? Yeah. Where'd you mess up? Oh. Yeah, that might be with that. So 14, actually just divide it. 7. Did you answer for number 2? Got a 17 in there. It looks to me that you're not writing this stuff down. You're getting lost there. And don't try to shorthand this stuff. So you move 59 right now. Write a blank space in. Like I did here. Space and blank space. So yeah, do you know where the 9 came from?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you back here, this is where it's not where.
Why does it go up?
Because v squared plus 6v plus 9 factors like this. Like that. And then when you write that, it's like 2 of them. So the whole thing is squared. So I would just erase those last 3. Pick up. Do the whole thing as fraction. Yeah, the first 2 are. I haven't done it yet. Okay, any more questions on number 2? Okay, let's do number 3. And if you didn't do them because they were fractions, maybe do them in decimal form just to be practicing the steps. You will get credit for decimal form. It's not complete 100% A credit, but following the steps with decimals is still valuable, so I'll give you some credit. So even though there's a 7 here, just combine like terms, add the 91 and the 7. I have a question about this 55. Here or here or here? right here. If there was a 4 here, I would divide the whole side by 4, but I can't just pick these two and not divide that one. Let's do it 1 on 2. Anybody find anything for 1 on 2? No. Stuck. Because it's what? 2 times 51. 51 isn't anything special. Any questions on number 4? No, 18 and 6 doesn't work out, but 18 is 9 times 2, so I would do that. And the 9 is square root. So the fact that this divides by 9 tells me that this number does possibly have a perfect square factor. This one, I tried to divide it by 4 and 16 and 49. It divides by 2 and 51. 51 doesn't divide by anything, so. Right. Right. It's 51 and 2 don't square root, so that's not helpful. Other questions on number 4?
Let's say 46 or 4K.
4K. There's number 5. Make sure that you took the imaginary eye. 1 out of 5 off. So it's a 4 out of 5. But on the same test, you'll have a question just asking you to like square root, negative 200. And if you do that wrong, if you don't take an I out, if this is the entire question, then you might get half wrong. But if it's just a little part of a long question, then it's supposed to be like proportionate to the number of steps. Alright, so the last one, hopefully you feel good enough about the process that having to deal with the fractions isn't too overwhelming. So the last one, all the same steps, but you're required to work with fractions the entire way through. Everybody ready, or should I wait? Bailey, are you ready for number 6? It's 2 minutes. So the difference from number 6 and the rest of the problems is that there's a leading coefficient other than 1. So a does not equal 1. And you can't do the whole process if a doesn't equal 1.
Making it different from last time we had a coefficient not equal to 1 is that 2 is not a perfect square. So we can't use your fancy trick.
Yeah, a is not a perfect square, and it cannot be square rooted. If I could square root a, maybe I could work around it, but can't. 2 is not a perfect square. So we'll have to divide everything by 2, which would be awesome if everything was divisible by 2, if like we had all even numbers, but we don't. So when we divide everything by 2, we'll divide this side by 2 and this side by 2. We'll get x squared minus 5 over 2x plus 67 over 2 equals 0. We're going to go about the whole process with these fractions. So if you have the class recommended calculator that has fraction button on it, you're allowed to use it. If you don't, you just need to go through the steps. After you put that phone away. So what do I do next? I'll subtract 67 over 2 on both sides. I'll leave a blank space where it was. And then I have to do b over 2 squared. So that's b. So b is negative 5 over 2. I'm going to put it over 2 and square it. So negative 5 over 2 divided by 2 over 1 is what we're doing. This is vertical division, and I'm going to write it as horizontal division. And we don't divide fractions, you multiply by their reciprocal. So this is keep, change, flip. From back in the day, keep, change, flip, important in this process. So that's going to be negative 5 over 4 squared. So multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. Negative 5 over 4. And now to square a fraction, properties of exponents, square the top, square the bottom. And that's the number we're going to add on both sides. All these little skills you've been collecting over time in math class, used right here. So we'll factor. It's going to be x minus 5 over 4. times x minus 5 over 4. So where did I get 5 over 4 from? Gabby?
When you square rooted the, when you divided -5 over 2 by 2 over 1.
It's this number here. Yeah. This is the number that will be in the factors, but really what I'm doing is just square rooting this. The square root of 25 over 16 is 5 over 4. So when you square root, like all the problems we've been doing, square root of 4 is 2. How many 4s? The square root of 25 over 16 is 5 over 4. That's what goes in your factors. That was b, right? It's here. I put it over 2 and I squared it. And that gave me my number here. Now when I factor it, I don't necessarily see b like on this problem. On this problem, b was 14. Do we see 14 here? No, we only see 7. We took this number and square rooted it and put it here. We're doing the same thing with the fraction. You don't necessarily see b here. You only see the square root of c. Other question is about 5 over 4. A little note for you. Square root the 25 over 16 to get you there. Alright, well, we'll have to add these fractions. You have full permission to use a calculator to add them. Without a calculator, we'll just have to get a common denominator. Our common denominator would be 16. 2 goes into 16 8 times. Max, what's 8 times 67? So once you get your common denominator, just add your numerators. You got it.
I don't think it's 511.
8 times 67?
My proof is how 7 times 8 is 56, so the ending number has to be a 6.
Oh, gee, my calculator.
I got 530.
Wait, what is it? 8 times 60?
57 times 8. I don't get me wrong, but when you do.
Oh, you're given the answer. Here's your 511. Yep, thank you.
You're right.
Here's your 511. When we do the negative 536 plus 25, we got our 511 right here. Over 16. Question? Okie dokie. Write it in factored form. Square root. I'm going to go ahead and make this a 4. I'm pretty okay with that. So I'm going to square root the bottom because it can be square rooted. You can square root the top and bottom separately. You don't have to square root them both at the same time. So it's like if I would have rewritten it. Why do I keep putting the negative on the outside? Negative 511 over the square root of 16. You know, you can separate numerators and denominators as long as you square root them both. And then you have a really nice 4 down there. It's better. All right, last step. 5/4 plus or minus little I. 511/4. You could write the whole thing like that as well. And that's it with fractions. Yeah, unfortunately, your quadratic, your chapter 4 test is like maybe 12 questions, which means this question packs in it like 12 points, right? So you have to earn points for every step that you do correctly. Knowing the process is actually more valuable than getting every number right. Like, do I want you to get every number right? Absolutely. But if you can prove that you have taken the time to memorize and understand the process, that's where you should pass. You know, you should get passing credit on that.
If the 16 on the bottom is negative, we have to have done that whole complex.
Well, if they were the whole thing would be positive. If the bottom's negative, you can just make the top negative. That's how fractions work. Absolutely. Got to review before a test. Yes. Yeah. Right now your test is tentatively November 5th. There's still lots of topics in chapter 4. Yeah, this is just one question on your test, right? A 12-point question. So if you don't know completing the square, drops you to an 88, right? So like just the square rooting. So our last quiz was like Friday, right? So I try not to quiz you every week, but I could definitely put a quiz in next week for sure. Who has a question? Someone have a question? Yes, Victoria. Oh, November 5th. Sure, yeah. Cool. All right, let's look at your homework problems.
I can make that. I don't get myself to look too late.
I think I did 15 in class. So we'll hit 16. Here's 16. How far did you get? You know, like just look. You know, where did you quit? Did you quit with 3/2 squared? So just take a moment and recognize that. Okay, I'll just square the top, square the bottom. 9/4. Square root the top and bottom to get 3/2. We did 15. Here's 16.
So to make sure you're getting it right, could you factor it so you know what numbers your goal is?
Yeah, so which ones could be factored? Let's answer that. When you look at the problems, not all of them can be, but you could factor this one.
15, 16, 17.
Every time there's integer answers, you can go back and factor the original problem to check. If there's not an integer answer, then it probably could not be factored. So you don't have that check.
Well, since we were so fairly new to the subject, I wanted to make sure I got the concept right.
Yeah, definitely go back and factor. And then we're going to learn we're going to learn the quadratic formula, which will be another check. So by the end of the chapter, you can solve one equation 4 ways. So you can check it 4 times, 4 different ways. Depending on the equation. All right, 17. be factored, but you can complete the square on any equation. Any questions on this one? Here's 18. So 18 is the one that, if you didn't do it because the fractions, 18 doesn't have fractions, so maybe just jam it out right now. Do it right now and see if you get it right. I'll leave that one up there for a minute while I walk around. Yeah. Can you work for that? Do you have a question, Jacob?
All the equals on the good side.
Okay. Okay, let me skip now. So, if you didn't make this for a 2, like if you were with this and you took the time to write these steps down, see you guys. Go back and look at the step where you squared the 33 over 4 and just take that radical bar and make it half and square root the 4 and make it 2. Just do this next step.
Memorize it like the video and like that thing. I just didn't know how to do the fraction. I kind of did it. I just
What's Addison?
What? For what? Oh my god, you're still on that. Literally, you could have got it. Too.
The Maddie hasn't gone away.
I had $20 in my bank account. I wasn't gonna spend almost half of that on content. Sorry. I actually apologize, Caitlin. This is my sincere apology. Since apparently it's like your biggest issue today.
Okay,
Now,
going
I
back,
don't
here
wanna-
is 17. No, big boy.
I said, pick out of course, you pick the biggest one. I was like, okay,
22.
18 first.
Did I show this? No. It looks so much like the other one. So, I assigned you 6 more of these to do.
Are they
We
all,
just started doing
are they
it.
all fractions?
No,
We just started doing it.
yeah, I know. Go ahead. 6 more, and then tomorrow we're gonna do something different with this. Page 54, 19 through 24.
The same thing.
Is that all we're doing today? Oh, the research back up?
Just chill, we can check some answers. Don't back up. Maybe I get a couple money to check your answers.
Cheers. I love it.
Hey, do I need to write back there to log into Khan Academy? Do I need to write that down? Or are you gonna remember? If you're worried you're gonna forget the Khan Academy thing and you want to get your phone out right now, you have my permission to get your phone out right now and go to Khan Academy. Do you guys go through Schoology? There is a link through Schoology to take you to Khan Academy, and best case scenario, in one login you see your PSAT scores and you have this course. Like if those could be linked, that would be really beneficial to you. Do you guys know how to log into Khan Academy?